Green, green, green. Oh, but Koa holds it around the outside, and he gets a way better
take it.
Pushing hard, already 3 wide into turn 1.
A little bit, and a group of Astons just piling up on him, trying to hold everybody off. Push him wide a little bit. Oh, but you can't make it stick.
Boonstra is able to hold the inside.
Got a little overlap, but he can't do it.
Ooh, and
He just caught it.
Mr. Sir and King are banging doors.
Oh, shoot.
And we're off and away for SRA.
Welcome everyone to Belgium's second favorite circuit here right next to Spa. We are at Zolder here for round 5 for Division 4 of SRA. Joining me on the desk today, Waleed Sadat. Welcome back after a break last week. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. You know, real life get in the way of my favorite thing to do right now, which is sim racing, but I'm glad to be back, particularly at a track I really enjoy driving. Hopefully we see some good racing.
Should be some pretty good racing as far as we'll glance at the standings later, but as far as the standings say, it is all to play for still, so look forward to that. Zolder being one of those tracks kind of notorious for wiping some people out, won't you say?
Any track where there's a sanctioned jump, I feel like that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, that curb is extremely killer. Speaking of the track, would you like to walk us through the track map real quick?
Yeah, let's do it. So, Zolder is a track, as it says, 2.492 miles or 4.01 kilometers if you use non-standard units. It's not an overly complicated track, but it is a very, very hard track to get the perfect lap out of. There are a ton of corners, such as turn 2, turn 4, which don't have, like, static, ideal braking markers. So you kind of got to go by feel. The chicane, particularly chicane for the 4-5 complex or the turn 5 complex. The aforementioned jump. The 7 chicane isn't as bad. 9-10 not as bad. Passing opportunities, I would say into turn 9 is the biggest one. Into turn 9 and into turn 7. That turn 7 chicane is a lot wider than I think a lot of drivers realize. There is some space to go side by side. And I would be very careful into the turn 11 chicane, the final 2 corners, as it does conflict with the pit entry. The pit entry braking marker being significantly later than the braking marker to actually make the turn 11 chicane. So hopefully we don't see too many incidents around there.
Lots of places for incidents to happen, and of course we will try to catch everything, but of course we cannot. But on track, as people, the silver, their drivers are warming up their tires on their outlap. If you're new here to Sim Racing Alliance, this is your first time watching the stream, first time racing, we do things a little differently here in qualifying. Qualifying, we have a 20-minute session that is split into 10-minute parts, one for the silvers, one for the golds. The silvers will be out first, golds will be out second. And if you're asking yourself, who's silver, who's gold? direct your attention to the left side of the screen right now. Everyone with a silver number plate will be your silver driver. Everyone with a white number plate will be your gold driver. On board with Cube Master, who is the first of the silver drivers, very eager to get out, set their lap, and might I say, it's probably good that they are out early because this track will fill up very easily.
Yeah, hopefully not as much as we've had in the past couple races. Not Imola, but the race before Imola, we had huge issues at Brands Hatch where the leader was running into the back of the train getting ready to start their lap. Not as much an issue here.
Brands Hatch is a extremely short track. I think has even less turns than this track in particular, but here we were kind of in the practice servers a little bit. It was constant. There was barely a 3-second space for you to sit doing any kind of laps. Luckily, we don't have the virtue of having 50 people on the track all at once, at least for qualifying the race. I could say less. I think we currently have 39 cars, so it will be hectic for race start.
Yeah, and we'll see how qualifying goes. I know we were talking off air about the Aston Martin cars being very strong at this track. There's the jump.
Master showing how to not take that and validating his time.
I do think we'll see some. I think the Ferraris will struggle. I think more so than other makes. The Ferraris and potentially the McLarens. These cars that historically have a lot of trouble with curbs will, particularly with that chicane we just saw, will have a lot of issues in this race. So hoping the best for those drivers.
I will say though, it's not like the Porsche is terrible at this track, but it is one of the more sketchier cars to take around here.
Yeah, the Porsche can be sketchy regularly. So now adding a jump in the mix, some aggressive curbs, and some tight lines, we'll see what happens. Because not a lot of opportunity for side-by-side racing.
No, it's not. But we'll say the practice race that we had yesterday, it was pretty juicy, at least in D1, D2. We had a few testing, quote-unquote testing, overtaking spots in the chicanes. Actually, the favored person coming out of the chicanes was the person that let the other driver through on the inside.
You hear that, people? Driving safe is good. It gives you an advantage.
It gave him just a better exit than the person who decided to try to take the chicane a little bit narrower. So keep your eyes open for that, as we'll keep our eyes open for our fastest driver right now, currently sitting at a 29.7. I can't pronounce that name.
Bashdon?
Yeah.
Okay. We need a pronunciation guide.
We used to have one.
Well,
not there yet.
In the Honda, another historically sketchy car.
Correct. Very fast time though, 29.7. Good starting lap, and there are improvements all the way down the board. Currently, we're on board with Smith here. Currently 6/10 up on their time. Looking to try to take provisional pole. It doesn't look to be gaining too much for it, so should gain a couple of positions, but the way the grid's looking, looks like everyone's going to be gaining a couple of positions here.
He went up almost 8/10, over 8/10.
Western Rally off in the grass.
Just McLaren things.
McLaren things.
I don't know if I should be concerned that I'm ranked a division higher than these guys, and that current pole time is about my time. I'm a little bit faster, but not that much faster.
That's why we're on
these
the
are the
desk right
silvers.
now. Smith goes P4 with a 30.3.
Bajdan beats his pole time and goes with a 28.957.
Rodriguez coming up close, 4/10 down, 29.4. Everything to play for here.
Yeah, Rodriguez setting a purple sector time in Sector 2, but getting beat out in 1 and 3. So I feel like Sectors 1 and 3 are easier places to find time than Sector 2, mostly because of the chicane.
You would be correct. You could also gain a lot of time just kind of shooting yourself out of these flowy corners that you can hold the speed through. So if last lap you kind of took a little bit safe, you go extremely risky, probably gain a couple tenths.
Yeah, I always try, my first lap out, I always try to get like a safe banker, like I have a time, and then go from there.
Normally that's what you at least try to do. Some people are risky and just throw it all at the wall.
That's how you end up in the wall.
Routledge.
Lot of red on the board. So a little bit of green. The picture-in-picture currently following with Donahue, who's up 3/10 on his time, currently in P9. Recting close behind. He's 4/10 up on his time.
Absolutely
Donahue
jinxed
had a
Donahue.
major issue.
Well, we see the rise of Donahue after he came out on bail.
Well, he had 3/10. He lost 3/10. He's found two more tenths.
Invalid.
So.
He's invalid. This lap.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. That means the camera goes on to smite someone else. Recton, how you doing? You're up 4/10. Let's mess this up.
Can't wait to caster curse this one. Routledge making their way through the final chicane, almost 2/10 up. Can they get a good enough exit? Not good enough, and we'll just bleed time all the way to the line. Not enough to improve. We'll just stay P3 for the time being. Master jumped up to P5 while we were looking away, and Kevin Unda, there's a yellow flag real quick.
Horrible to see a corner exit and then just watch your delta go down and down and down. Depressing.
There's a car I did not expect to see in the top 10 right now. Dockendorf in the Audi.
The car, not the driver.
Yeah, no, not the Dockendorf. Good guy, great driver. The Audi, not so much.
Up into P4 as Recton puts it in P6 with his time.
You'll have about probably 2 more laps, I'd say, to improve these times.
Yeah, about. Start a lap, start a second lap. Speaking of improvement, Q-Master is now up another 4/10.
You are correct. See that in your picture-in-picture window coming out on the front stretch. Going up 5/10 now. Not enough to put him on pole, but enough to put him P3 with a 29.4 and only 200ths off of P2 right now.
And then, a 4.5 gap to P1 after that.
Yeah, casually. You can tell who has practiced this circuit. Well, over 5.5 tenths gap now. You can tell who has practiced this circuit a little bit.
I would send him to D3, but I don't want to race him either, so we can keep him here.
We can. Some of these solar drivers, they're fast, and just wait till the golds get out on track.
Oh, man.
In a minute.
We have
40.
an early prediction on pole.
Let me take a look. Who's on the server today? Obviously, Funk with the Jag, obviously.
I mean, I believe it. I
Uh,
would put a bounty on it.
do we have penalties today?
That's a good question.
I think we have a pit lane start or a qualifying ban, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see. In Division 4, we have
Where Aiden Grover's going to pull their best last to first.
car 699 is on 4 penalty points, which I do believe is a qualifying ban.
That
Or
would
pit
not
lane
be the
start.
car I'm looking at. Car 916, currently silver drivers sitting in the pits, at least silver on our end.
Wonder what's going on there. Hopefully not technical issues.
Hopefully not.
We are checking. We are checking.
Get this man an interview right now. Grover is doing their best impression of last to first this race, obviously. Rodriguez was up like 3/10 on their time. Messed up the final chicane, so we'll have to go around again to try to set a faster lap. Qualifying is coming to the end. We're starting to see people jump into the pit lane like Cube Master, Thompson, Recton. Currently going to just settle for where they're at.
Dockendorf making a push for the podium, currently up 3/10 and just about 3/10 behind Q-Master. But as I say that, bleeds 2/10 of his time.
We are caster cursing today.
That's my actual job. I don't know if you were aware. I've been put in here to create chaos.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Rodriguez is up a 10th on their time, trying to get pole position. Very good hop over the chicane. Not a good enough exit, though, out of it. Must not have had... was taking a little too much there. See how much time that drains. Almost about 10th. Gains it all back in that chicane. 2/10 up. Needs another 3 to take provisional pole for silver. Golds are out on track right now. So we'll pan over to them once our silver drivers are finished. We're still on board with Rodriguez, trying to improve their time by any means necessary currently.
Looking at Smith, who's getting ready to cross the line, about a 10th up. Coming through that final chicane now. And then the picture-in-picture focus on Donahue, who is currently up 4/10, about 25, 30 seconds left in his lap, coming into turn 9, I believe.
Smith will stay P8. Rodriguez will stay P2. Barely any improvement there.
Donahue runs wide and lost all of his 4/10s gained, and is now only up 2/100ths.
Madison is up 9/10 coming out of the final chicane currently.
Whoa.
Not enough to put him on pole, but enough to put him in the fight here. We'll jump up to P13. Donahue not going to be able to improve much, if any. So our silver drivers are done just in time for our gold drivers to finally come around, leading the pack. Funk in the Jag.
You know he got out early, made sure he was in the front.
Oh,
the Jag can see no rear ends.
It is a very unsettling car, to say the least. So any kind of space you can
arrow.
Just a block. So these are actually the Gold's hot laps currently. Funk not looking the most stable, to say.
Every time I see this Jag, man, it's growing on me. It looks better and better every time I see it.
Because it's in the hand of Funk's.
That might be true.
Funk is
it has like all the best parts of an Aston Martin in the front end. I like cars with a very distinct rear end, like you know that's that car.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
And it's just like, thick. I don't know, like wide rear end.
It's just thick, you know. Quality I look at for a car. Funk making his way down to the final chicane. See where he can place that Jag. Will be very flabbergasted if it goes on pole here. Like a good entry and exit. Very good exit. Catching all the curb. We'll put their car. P2. Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
23 thousandths off of pole currently.
My man put a Jag in his first hot lap down at a 28.8.
Already making up time as well. 2/10 up on their time. Only through 3
Jeffrey
turns.
squealed in the background. Couldn't hear him, but we could hear him.
So Funk looking to put the Jag on pole for the first time this season. First time ever, probably. You can just take a look at him taking the chicane. Absolutely takes so much curve. 4/10 up on their time. This is a blistering lap right now.
Update on the Aiden Grover situation. He was having technical issues, but he says finally now I can actually play the damn game.
All right, well, last to first. Here he comes. Oh, and Funk 4/10 up on his time. Well, 6/10 up. Caught some of the grass. Gonna bleed away about 2/10 here, coming down to one of the final turns, the hairpin. You need to hook your tires on the inside curb to gain the momentum. He is pushing for that lap.
Marvin is 1.1 off pole, and he is currently 8/10 up on his lap, and we're following him in the picture-in-picture.
Funk looking to improve by almost 8/10, 7/10. Not a great exit out of the chicane. Actually bleeding 2/10 off their time. So they will have so much time to gain in their next lap, but that is provisional pole with a 28.3, 5/10 clear of P2 currently.
Marvin taking P4 with a 29.2. But that Jag has another half a second in the pocket, I feel like.
Oh yeah, it does. I don't know how, but it does. But we will focus off him and focus more on Platt here. It's about to round out their lap 5/10 up.
As, the picture-in-picture shows White Scarver in a little bit of traffic, it looks like. Gotta manage your gaps, people. Manage your gaps.
You will have to back out of this lap and next lap, essentially. Don't know. Our rules here, you're not allowed to overtake in qualifying, so it's up to you to manage that 3 to 5 second gap. It's on you to determine how fast you are compared to the guy in front. Funk will invalidate their lap, so we'll have to go again. Cockcroft was 2/10 up on their time.
Behind Chris Craig up 5/10, had a great exit out of the last corner. Or the last corner that he took. Sorry, not the last corner on the track. He is in the picture-in-picture, about halfway through his lap at this point.
Cockcroft making up some decent time with this Porsche right now. He had a little bit of a shaky sector 2. Sector 3 looks to be going pretty well for him.
Chris Craig's on pace for a heater though. From 20th, it looks like he might put it in the top 7.
Oh my. Cockcroft crossing the line, 2 tenths up, possibly 3. Not a ton of improvement, but we'll put him within the top 10, P9. Marvin is also 2 to 3 tenths up currently. Just started their flying lap.
Chris Craig is 1.1 up on his lap, coming to the line.
Aye.
And he puts it
Fast
in
one.
P3 with a 28.877.
These D4 times are scaring me. Because, I can't hit these times.
Yeah, I'm not in the 28s yet. I'm gonna be honest. I'm in like a 29.0.
I'm a drop from D2 to D4 in one season.
I mean, I can't keep up with the D4 drivers, so D5 potentially.
I'll join you down there. Marvin was up 3 tenths on their time, losing it all in the kind of wide chicane after big chicane, call it. Not having a good sector 3 either. Cockcroft looking to put on another heater. Almost 3 tenths up on their time. We'll probably jump them up a couple of positions here if they can finish off this final chicane perfectly, taking all that curb on the inside, which is good. All of it on the outside. Gonna elect not to take it all. We'll stick to the road. Still will be 3.5 tenths up. We'll put their car P7.
Nice, good lap. As we follow with Selena down in P18 right now. Not having a great lap, but the 2 cars ahead of her had put together an identical lap time. Rutledge and Dockendorf both put down a 29.770. If she can pass one of them, she gets both of them.
That guy was a 2nd and 2 tenths up. We'll put it up in the P28, but that's all the way coming from last. So a lot of time to find here. 30.2 is Sky's time currently. Craig on the hunt for that provisional pole right now.
I was saying the Ferrari wasn't good around here, and we might have a Ferrari on pole.
Currently, they still need about 2 tenths improvements. Currently enough improvement to put them P2. They'll have sector 2 and 3 to go, so let's see what you can do with it. Surprisingly not electing to munch on that second exit curb out of the chicane.
Asper goes from P28 to P11, gaining about 8 tenths on that lap.
Fair.
Which has to feel real good towards the end of the session for sure.
You're so relieved when you see that because like you just kind of take it at that point.
All right, cool. I finally put together a representative lap.
Bear's going for another one, about 10th up still.
Banks behind him up 5.5 tenths though, from P16, which would be enough to put him in the top 8.
Bear's yellowed.
Well, so much for that.
We know he's not yellow. Craig coming into the final chicane. Not going to be enough to put it on provisional pole, but will be enough to put it P2, and we'll get another lap in. So a lot of time to gain here. 28.7. We need a 28.341 for provisional pole. Can Marvin do it? Currently 3 tenths up on their time. Make that 4.
Yeah, but he needs 7.
Does need 7.
As Banks does end up putting it in P9 with that last lap and has just enough time to go back around again if he has the fuel to do it.
And qualifying will end, so anyone that crosses the line now, that will be their lap over. Marvin will not be able to do anything with their car, having a major issue. Ended up bleeding out all that time. Like, everyone is red across the board currently, everyone except for White Scarver. Up by 2 tenths, won't jump him up a whole lot currently. Still has the rest of the lap to go though.
Now he's up almost 5 tenths.
Finding it in the Ferrari.
It's all part of L plan. All
Exactly.
part of L plan.
Up then. But currently your top 5 is Funk, Craig, Bolito.
Bashed
Marvin
Bajon or
and
Bajon,
Barker.
like it depends on whether the J is pronounced.
Please DM me afterwards. I'm sorry.
Either way, he is the third and he is in third, so we could just appreciate that fact and
Yes.
continue from there.
Yes. He tense up was White Scarver, finding a lot of time here. Won't be enough to put it on pole, but will be enough to jump him up some substantial positions.
It's because he's the only car on track, and the pretentiousness of the brand makes you go faster when the
Everyone's
pours
watching
on
him.
around.
He also has my old number, so.
The power of the number plate.
8 tenths up. We'll put it in P24. Very good from White Scarver.
Right around the middle of the grid.
So we have our golds faced towards the top. So a little bit of a mix down towards the bottom, but only one silver in the top 10 right now. It's gonna be an interesting race to say the least.
I hope this Jag just gets a clean getaway. And
Anyway,
I know
hold on.
the
We're not
Ferrari's
talking
going to
about it.
struggle.
We're not talking about it. Jag on pole?
Jag on pole.
I don't believe it.
As we see the CJA sponsor in the top right corner.
Oh,
Like I said, we can hear the squeal in the distance.
Well, while these drivers get all their setups currently going, let's look at the standings. Currently on your screen, the team standings for Division 4, as you can see, leftovers. Currently P1 560, comfy competition, not far behind, 466. That is one race can take that lead. Grifty's Motorsport Arizona 407, Madhouse Racing T-Rex Racing Team 369, Ghost Rider Racing, Drifting Hooligans powered by Hoonigan 337.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, they're part of my conglomerate. I had to. It was not fun. Any of these top 5 teams can currently wipe away P1 this race, I believe, if all the stars align. Currently, lots of team fighting, but you know what has even more fighting? The driver standings. Currently, Jacob Zitko is going to be leading your drivers for Division 4, followed by Corey Davis, Santos, Gold, Cockcroft, Caleb Craig, Martin Riggs, Zach Sky, Austin Whitescarver, and Josh Potvin. All are still in the fight for P1 currently. 10.
Ditko not here. Santos not here.
Nope.
And Dave is starting in P6.
Yeah. So it's a great day to get some points for your driver standings, flashing off the backpack as well. So we still have 4. This is for this race, and then 3 more races. So anything can happen here in this season.
Back checking myself, they are both here. They're just way down the order.
Okay.
Zitko 14, and Santos down somewhere in the 20s.
Still
Santos in 35th.
Still primed up 4 points everywhere, all around. Wait for drivers about to start getting their tires warm, brakes warm, as it will be ever imperative coming down into turn 1. This track kind of famous for its turn 1 incidents, as turn 1 is very flowy, as well as turn 2, turn 3, and turn 4. So lots of chances for incidents right off the bat. And you're kind of expected.
Very good looking Ferrari.
You're kind of expected to kind of funnel into the chicane, but if I'm going off of what I saw last night in the practice race, no one's funneling in by the chicane. Everyone stayed too wide.
You know, zip her in and it'll be fine.
Yes.
And don't send it up the inside. Is that Jag green or black?
Black.
Oh, okay.
Your eyes do not deceive you, don't worry. And yes, their livery is updated. That is not a carbon fiber. That is painted black.
That's kind of gangster.
It is. Leading the way, it
completely
is
blacked out.
It is absolutely wide. Literally, I think there's literally a block on my screen. Oh, it was a sensor bar for a second.
I think all these modern GT3 cars with their giant wings, Jaguar had it right. Made more tire.
More more time. We are heading through this section of the track. If you're one of these drivers, what are you kind of saying to yourself right now, warming up your tires and your brakes, getting ready for the chaos that will ensue? Because it's not a very wide track, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm thinking just make it through turn 2, 3, 4, that little triple right-hander complex. And then being aware of where other cars are going into the first chicane. I definitely don't want to invite a move in, but I do still want to try to maintain my proper racing line. Just because if someone sends it, you have the double risk of 1, it's a send, and 2, if they hit that curve the wrong way, they could get spit out in almost any direction. And you don't want to get caught up in that nonsense.
And I will say the back, not the half of the field, but probably 35 and back will start in the chicane.
Oh, that's great.
So lights will go out in the chicane for them.
I'm going to hop to the back half of the grid then and see what's going on over there.
Be careful, as we are going double file here about to start. Our leader is getting on to the front stretch right about now. We will try to catch all the action. Your main picture will catch the front half. Picture in picture will catch the back half as we are slowly approaching the line. And for week 6 at week 5 at SRA is green light, and we are off and away. Not a terrible start from the Jag in front, but everyone's still side by side. That Ferrari is going to take out side by side still through turn 2 with the Jag as we go on board with Craig. Craig not going to be able to get as much speed. Funk holding the outside, is able to hold the position as they all slot right back in line.
No yellow flags. No yellow flags.
Now the Honda peeking down on the inside currently at the Ferrari. Not going to go for it. Everyone's sliding right back in line. No one trying to make a move just yet. Marvin looking a little antsy though. Nothing happening in the front half. Everyone's sliding in line. No one going into each other. There's a dive in the back. Davis trying to go for Barker, but Davis just messed up his line. Opens the door for Banks here to come up in the back. Not going to be able to capitalize on it as that Porsche engine not as strong as that Aston engine. And Funk building his gap already, a second, 2/10, and we're not even down 1 lap.
Yeah, it's going in the back as well with the chicane. Saw the Porsche cut the track a little bit. Big incident, bunch of yellow flags showing up.
Yeah, that's going to be a
as we get
standstill.
all of that in the picture-in-picture at chicane for turn 7.
Still going on.
Bunch of cars backwards. Somewhere in the chaos we didn't realize Santos started from the pits. Hopefully can now avoid that incident, but will be a significant damage to his title fight if he can't make up positions.
It will be, as we are still kind of single file here, at least in the front part of the field. Platt going on Banks. That Porsche engine still just not enough to catch up. Banks now, yellow flag. There's contact there. Not what you want to see if you're Banks. Banks luckily is able to turn right around, so we can just kind of get going.
That was a hit at speed, though. That Porsche's rear suspension and control arms must be absolutely shot.
That is, you're not, yeah, he's already seen the issues here. He's going to go off to the wall.
Well,
Luckily, it is a 55-minute pit window, so if he can get back to the pits right now, he should be able to clear his pit window as well as repair that car.
looks like he's struggling to drive straight, though.
He is fair. Going side by side with Rodriguez here, down into the chicane. Fair's going to back out. Rodriguez will take this one. Get a single file through that.
Contact, turn 7. Looks like Riggs and Volkowitz came together.
The Ghost Riders are not having a good night, it looks like.
That team-on-team violence?
Hey, we may be one conglomerate, but we're very competitive internally.
No team orders. Go race.
Exactly.
Like to see it.
Watts is approaching Cockcroft here, trying to get past him with that Jag. That Funk, 3 seconds up with the Jag currently from Craig.
Dockendorf having an issue. A little slow into the last chicane, going backwards in the
Not
grass.
the sign.
Glad that's not a braking marker, but just sitting there watching cars go by, finding no space to get back on track.
Yeah, you don't want to join the track perpendicular as well.
That's tough.
Yeah, throw in reverse, bud.
Yeah, I would have tried to go that way to begin with. Try to get back on the straight as opposed to going backwards.
Good safe rejoin though from our driver.
Shockingly, it seems like the turn 7 chicane's the big issue, which is unfortunate for me because I said that was a good passing zone to go wide, too wide in.
Well, it might be a
Clearly
good
don't know what I'm talking
passing
about.
zone,
I mean, cars are getting passed in the chicane. That is fair.
but maybe not cleanly, but
I think people are just a little more hesitant around the first chicane, given its nature to actually kill you. So a little more confident, leading to maybe a few more mistakes.
everyone will be a little bit more hesitant on these opening laps as well. So I'm feeling once we get closer and closer to the end, inching ever so slightly, we'll see more moves like Recton almost pulled there on Smith. Recton all over the back. Rodriguez did not see this before. Has 30-second time penalty added onto his time.
Ooh. I wonder what the stop is. It a 30-second stop go?
Oh,
Or is
and
it just-
Recton missing his braking point, having to take evasive maneuvers into the grass to avoid Smith. Good clean
Good
on
job
him.
avoiding it.
Yeah, gets
Didn't
right
kill
back
anyone.
in line. We'll actually be able to overtake Zach Sky, I believe, or whatever that may be. That may be blue flag already. Into the pits they go.
You saw the car trailing him, try to
Yep.
take a little aggressive line, and the car just got out of the way.
Yep. Again, we said this braking zone, look, Cockcroft or whoever's in the green and black Porsche there tried to do something, not going to do it.
Madison in the wall, having big issues. Lorenzo and Greer got caught up in something. Yellow flags going up and down the board.
This track has proven to us that it is not a car contact issue of you spinning out. It is a self-inflicted issue.
Yeah. Rodriguez into the wall on the front straight has
Barker
seemed
taking
to
a
feel
very
towards the
late
pit.
dive, and there is contact there between them and Marvin. Spun around and will tag Davis there as well, trying to get out of the way. Very late dive by Barker.
Barker trying to make the move and having the door shut in his face. The move was not there.
Was there just very, very late. Julio's
That shakes up our top 10 a lot.
Julio is approaching Craig here. Can they get a better exit out of this final chicane? If they do, it sets them up properly for turn 1.
All that's going on and catching up with Mr. Funk in our picture-in-picture. He's doing his own thing. 4.5 seconds up.
I'm waiting for the blue flags to come into play, and there they are.
Ooh.
Some of them are exiting pit lane as well now. Julio having to do
Stay wide.
switchback.
Stay wide. Oh, man.
You have to have so much trust for a blue flag in order to do that.
That's what we've developed here at SRA. Trust in everyone else's racing. As Rose gets it passed on Sky, as I say that, they take each other out. Oh, no, they're good. Just a little bit of contact. Yellow flags.
We're waiting for each other. Okay. Fair is approaching Zico very fast, poking their nose out, not going to go for the move, trying to fake him out, fake a dive, not going to happen. Everyone slots right back in line, and Fair's actually going to get out of sorts. Opens the door for the car behind, but that looks to be a blue flag.
Huh. That's...
How'd you get here?
I was gonna say that's the that was a result of Fair being a little too scared to jump the chicane and trying to take a way too safe line and just giving up a bunch of time.
Correct. Don't take it enough, you spin out. Take it too much, you spin out.
Believe it or not, straight to jump.
Gold is approaching Zitko. Looking their nose out, just kind of looking where to go. Notices the blue flag ahead of them, so there'll be an opportunity here to overtake, but Zitko is profiting off of that slipstream from that blue flag, to say the least, in this all-Aston train.
Unda's setting up a move on Potvin in the back, only 2 tenths behind.
So much has happened, and we're only 8 minutes. Barker's a little wide there, gonna invite car up the inside here. That is Rally. Barker is gonna be
Surprisingly
able to
little
fend off.
traction there. Surprisingly
Very
little traction on that inside curb.
There's very little. You don't want to take it, but you just kind of want to. Barker able to get back in this fight. The blue flag lets Gold by, lets Barker by. But Rally's going to get stuck behind.
That's got to be a scary place to be as a blue flag coming into that
Very.
chicane, cars swarming around you.
It's very inviting to let people wide because it is a straight, but it's an extremely scary place. Barker going very deep on that first turn, compromising his line there, trying to hold it together so he can stay with Gold, and Gold is just trying to stay with Zitka right now. But Julio is fast approaching Craig.
As Bajdon is 0.5, 0.6 behind Craig for P2, but they are getting involved with blue flags.
This is where it all kind of cracks open now.
Also, can I just point out, Funk has done a 28.812 in race.
Yep.
Hello?
Don't ask
That's
me how.
over a second clear of the next closest guy.
Blue flag in the
Or
grass.
gal. That's a ridiculous race time for this division.
It indeed is. It's in a Jag as well.
Oh yeah, also in a Jag.
In a Jag.
Oh, I'm slow as dirt.
The Jag should not be anywhere near a top 10 right now. Zico is approaching fair rapidly again. And they hold it together though. That is the question.
The gap between P1 and P2 is the same as the gap between P2 and P5.
You would be correct. It's Gap City, baby.
But as we noted, this is a track where if death happens, you bring it upon yourself. So let's see if Funk can hold it together for a full 60-minute race.
It is one wrong move and you will be race over essentially. Speaking of wrong moves, Gold having a wrong move fights Barker in to kind of stick their nose out. Barker is going to go there, but not going to be able to stick it, so we'll just back out. Cockcroft looks to be getting overtaken by Watts finally. Saw that in your picture-in-picture window.
That Aston just getting, or that Jag is getting great drive out of the corner. 2 Jags in the top 6? Hello?
Not sure.
Cue Jeremy Clarkson meme. It's a
It's a
Jag.
Jag. Barker's looking on the inside of Gold, not going to be able to complete the move. We'll just have to back out, stay in line. Their cars exiting pit lane. That will be a blue flag for everyone.
Yeah, you got to be thinking Barker is thinking at this point, like, I'm faster than these guys. I put down a better qualifying time. I made a mistake earlier in the race, but I gotta get past these people.
He's having extremely good lines too. It's not like anything struggling or anything here currently. It's just Gold is being able to be wide and fast in the Aston currently.
And it's a hard track to pass on.
It is. Walkowitz is looking to pass Boonstra now in Porsche on Porsche action here.
Yeah, Riggs right behind him too within half a second.
Riggs will be looking to benefit from any kind of attempted overtake here. Boonstra cutting a lot of curb, and that's how you want to do it, gaining all the time. And we have now had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 driver train forming currently. Oh, sorry, 7. Gold to Barker to Rowley to Boonstra to Walkowitz to Riggs. And if Donahue can get up there, we'll have another one as a blue flag is interrupting our fighting here. Might open the door here for Walkowitz. So side by side, has to avoid the blue flag. We'll pull out of the move. We'll just slot right behind Boonstra. Very sketchy, very clean.
Call that the Monza.
Well, Boonstra not getting a good enough exit. Walkowitz coming down here on the front stretch is going to try to hold the outside line. Boonstra will have the preferred line here when you are ahead. Walkowitz going to try for a switchback maneuver. Does have the speed for it, but will get the outside for the next 2 corners. Going to try it again. No, instead said to hold the outside, holding the speed. Boonstra still holding the inside. Walkowitz trying to hold that outside. This is a very sketchy area to be on the outside, but we'll get the move done. Still side by side. Boonstra going to dive deep into turn 4. Walkowitz is going to get by. Very clean move. Riggs now wants Boonstra. Will dive down to the inside. Side by side they go. Boonstra is going to lose out on 2 positions here. Lexus having to brake earlier. Porsche is going to take all of that. Going to hop the curb very wide, and Boonstra will hold that position for the time being.
What a sequence of corners. What great driving too. No contact, nothing, just tight racing.
As we say that, Riggs almost goes into the back of Boonstra.
I'm an agent of chaos.
Riggs
Look
has
at
some
our
work
picture.
to do.
As we look at our picture-in-picture, Barker within 3/10 of goal, 2/10, closing the gap. The Lexus 1/10, the Lexus on the Ashton. Let's see if he'll make a move into the final chicane. Pokes out, decides better, and slots right back in behind, starting the next lap.
Fortunately, that move also compromises your line to try to do an overtake on turn 1, so it's kind of about picking your spots.
Yeah, gotta pick and choose where you think you can make the pass, and then once you've decided that, you have to commit to the move. Otherwise, it's extremely difficult to pass around here.
Parker's trying an inside line, it looks like. Getting the job done as well, for the most part, but I don't think you're going to have the preferred line in the turn 4.
Yep. And you're just gonna get walked away from on the straight
Yep.
for compromising your line onto the straight,
Actually
which invites
inviting the
rally
dual
behind.
Side by side they're going. This is the turn where I say it's better to let the car on the inside go through because of that. Because of exactly that.
Well, yeah, I think a little bit more car awareness, knowing the McLaren can't take that chicane aggressively. Maybe
Correct.
it's not worth with the send.
And now Rowley has opened the door to Boonstra and Riggs to overtake him. And Boonstra chopping at the bit already, only 2/10 back from Rowley. Rowley's not going to be able to get any kind of slipstream from Walkowitz here.
The accordion affected the braking to turn 9 there. Getting real close.
That's how we like you here, SRA. Close racing.
Grover within 2/10 of fair. And Sharon? 4/10 behind that.
I'm sure that Porsche engine just not able to keep up with the McLaren. Even though the two engines are fairly similar, just not able to get it. Riggs trying the hardest to just stay with them through the turns.
Aren't all these engines homologated to roughly 500 horsepower?
Roughly. But Rowley's now on the back of Walkowitz. We go Porsche, McLaren, Porsche, Lexus. Watts going side by side with Cockcroft here down into the chicane. We'll be able to do the overtake. Cockcroft will just have to let him by. Get Burt back in line for that.
In our picture-in-picture, a little bit of it's Fair, then Grover, then Sean, all coming down the main straight. A little bit of a gap between them, half a second to a second, but something we'll have to come back to later because we said Volkovich, Rowley, Boonstra, Riggs, all real close, and if any of them make a mistake, Donahue's within 2 seconds behind, ready to take advantage.
It is so hard to follow in this track, and we're starting to see the effects of it with Boonstra and Riggs. Both of them went wide in the chicane as Riggs going extremely wide into that hairpin. We'll invite Donahue to overtake. Doesn't look like he was able to recover, so Donahue will take that. Zach Sky's going to actually overtake him now as well. Donahue has been released.
As well as Rose. Target fixation, just staring at the car in front of you and not realizing, oh, that 100 board means brake.
So hard to follow here. Kind of get caught up in people's headlights. You realize I can't brake like that car.
Yeah, don't follow Porsches. You can't do what we can do in that car.
Yes. This battle is going to look to spice up here in the next 15 minutes or so. Tire wear will start becoming a factor. Some of these long out turns as Riggs is going to go into the pits and just kind of call that stint a stint for what it is. It baffles me how much the Porsche gets up in the air over these curves.
And it gets up in the air in such a weird way where the front left part of the car hits the ground first.
Yes.
Like it's not. You would imagine the rear end with the engine in the back would like fall back down first, but no, it's the front left corner.
It's a very weird car, at least.
You know, it is a glorified Beetle, if we're being honest.
Beetle with 500 horsepower in it casually.
Still a Beetle.
Still a Beetle. Still on board with Walkowitz, Justin Rowley, and Boonstra here. Still in a battle, three-way battle currently. They also have a battle forming between Cockcroft Watson and Cube Master.
Who are tracking in our picture-in-picture. They're all maintaining a steady gap between 0.7 and 1.1, kind of just bouncing back and forth.
Watson and Cockcroft has been is trading positions for the most part back and forth through this race so far. And having a mini race of their own. Rodriguez looking to kind of gain some positions as they got 3/10 back from Recton. They did pit, so let's see where they come out at.
Based on our race leader, Funk is 11.2 seconds ahead of P2.
Wow.
And his last lap was a 29.275, which would be 0.6 faster than anyone else's best lap, but it's 0.4 slower than his best lap.
Because it's a Jag.
We need to file an FIA complaint. I'm thinking he talked to Ferrari circa 2019 about juicing his engine.
The engine swapped last week.
It's not illegal, but it's frowned upon. There will be a fine.
We will have some issues with our main stream. By issues, I mean fatal error.
Nice. We follow in the picture-in-picture. Rutledge, Platt, and Unda all within a second of each other, kind of just driving around, staying close enough to keep each other honest. Sharon is within 0.3 of Aiden Grover. The two Ferraris fighting it out. I believe coming downhill into turn 9 now. The Ferrari's very, very good in sector 3 at this track, but struggling mightily in sector 2. And then I'd say probably mid-pack, upper mid-pack in sector 1. With the Boonstra, Rally, Donahue crowd, Volkowitz, there seems to be gaps forming. Volkowitz is now 0.4 ahead of Rally, but Boonstra is a full second behind, and Donahue 2.7 behind her.
We are back.
Nice.
Thanks for that hold.
No worries.
You were saying Justin Rowley falling a little bit back, same with Boonstra. Not a whole lot coming out of this battle, but it is kind of our closest, most exciting battle at the very moment. Other than Rodriguez.
They're within, 4 or 5 tenths of each other. Recton and Rodriguez kind of just fighting it out, but not close enough to really influence each other's driving.
Yeah,
But this is my favorite place to be as the trailing car. If I can just hold a 4/10 gap to the car in front of me for 3, 4, 5 laps, I feel like I know I'm going to pressure them into a mistake. As was that a car horizontal on the main straight?
I don't see a yellow flag. I do see a yellow flag. That is Platt, who is indeed horizontal on the main street. Not ideal, and actually will just leave the server entirely.
Oof. No teleport to pits for him. It's Recton within 1 second of Sharon, looking like he's trying to make the move. And gets the move done. Clean into turn 9, and Rodriguez will follow him through.
Move
Rodriguez.
in the hairpin. They might fight back here, though. Still side by side to the chicane.
Rodriguez covers off the inside.
Ooh. The grass is deadly.
And compromises his exit, I guess. I wonder if there was contact there. That was a very strange line for him to take.
Very strange indeed. Unsure of what exactly happened there.
But his invited white scarfer behind.
Rowley's actually closing the gap here to Walkowitz finally. Poked their nose out for a second, deciding not to go for it. Gonna be faster through that turn compared to the Porsche, but not getting a quick enough exit.
Yeah, you can get close enough to almost push the Porsche through the corners, but passing it's another thing entirely. And that was a lot of P words.
It's just, it's the aero in the McLaren is so heavy, but the second you get behind a car, it's extremely hard to do that dirty air.
Yeah. The McLaren, for those who don't know, feeling the most like, the closest to an F1 car I feel like we have in the GT3 series. So aero dependent.
I would say yes.
Unfortunately, that means if you tap your front end, your race is done.
Mm-hmm. Pep,
the thing will start to wash wide.
Any part of your car, your race is done. That's up
Rodriguez up Sharon's rear end within 2/10 through the corners. He has a move for him in turn 11 into the final chicane.
They are blue flagged at this. That Funk. The Funk who's up 12 seconds to Craig.
Well, you can't fake the funk, so we'll know for sure once we get a good look at him.
Ooh, side by side we go in the turn 1 here. I've seen a lot of that.
I would advise against.
White Scarver gonna join the fun and will actually take that position from Rodriguez as well.
Falling down the order. I wonder if he's carrying damage.
He might be if he got a little contact there, but he seems to be faster out of turn 4, coming down to the chicane. Oh, they're bumping doors. White Scarver not giving him enough room.
Yep,
Boy,
just cut the track. That's
off.
fine. Cut the track.
Yep, it's fine. It's good.
That's gonna.
Dare I
That's
say
gonna
that
get a
be
ticket.
looked at?
Someone is reporting that incident.
We're looking.
There's a Recton right behind
Yeah.
Grover.
210's not deciding not to go for the move here. We'll just stay in line, very close, almost pushing him. Poking out, might look to do something, signing against it, go right back in.
This is a replay actually of the Bahrain GP with the Aston pushing the Ferrari.
Oh yeah?
As up in P2 and P3, Bowers on 2/10 behind P2.
Getting spicy up there. We are on board with Barker following Zitko here in a sea of blue flags right now.
God, I love the 50-minute pit window.
It leads for so much chaos, mainly for blue flags, but I argue that it's more passing as well than normal. As side by side they go for P2. Craig is going to be able to hold that position off. Julio coming back for the switchback. Not going to be able to hold that. Craig will hold the position for a little bit more. Barker threads off into the pits.
Yep. Craig just taking the much more ideal line in the Ferrari, which looks like it's longer distance, but you carry so much more speed using the whole track.
You said Ferrari was not going to be good here. Currently P2.
I guess it's the driver more so than the vehicle?
Now I will say it's 10 seconds down from P1 right now, but
To a Jag. And where's the next Ferrari?
P18. Both have yet to pit yet.
Oh, jeez. Well, most of the top 20 haven't pit, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. 1 through 18, no one's pit.
correct. And then Sharon in P21. Kyle Miller's looking to kind of get in here, get some action done, falling close behind Thompson here. Flashing, even that's not a blue flag, Miller. That is a racing driver.
The tactics! Flash him, push him off his game.
Miller looked to have held too much speed through the chicane. Kind of got a little late on the braking point, but vastly approaching Thomas here through these turns.
As Rally's pushing Volkowitz through some of these corners at McLaren within 2/10 of the Porsche. But to note, somehow while Craig and Bajan were fighting for P2, they managed to gain time on Funk, who had a horrendous last lap with a 1:33.2, which is nearly 5 seconds off his race pace.
I bet that he got held up by blue flags.
That's definitely possible.
Just a strong bet. Miller, this gap falling away from him. We'll have to close way back. Keep an eye on that battle. Justin Rowley still trying to close the gap to Wolkowicz, getting a little dangerous on his braking. We'll have to compromise his turn 2. We'll lose a ton of time opening the door for Boonstra again behind him. Boonstra not able to close the gap here. Down to the chicane. Will anyone miss anything? No. Porsche taking the curb. Boonstra taking a little bit more than probably was needed.
Miller within half a second behind Thompson down in 30-31.
Yeah, he's getting close, but he's not able to seal the deal yet. This turn.
Yellow flags for Aiden Grover. Bleeding out of time now.
Elmo falling closer than ever before currently to Thompson. So we currently are broadcasting the only 2 battles on track at the very minute.
We all need a second to calm down and collect ourselves after the chaos that was the first 30 minutes of this race.
It happens with these 55-minute pit windows. We get a lot of action early on. When it starts kind of settling down, we start seeing the blue flags, and then when we get to this moment, everything's kind of more mellowed out. We're racing time at this point.
Yeah. As Funk has returned to form with his last lap being a 29.6, which is the second fastest lap in the race if we eliminate his current fastest lap of the race.
Want to talk about some manufacturer consistency? Porsches P12, P13, P14.
And also P6, P8.
Yep.
So
And P10.
Porsche having a great outing.
All within 10 positions currently.
The executive back in Stuttgart having a great time. Look at those hit points.
This rally's closing the gap here. Very close. Close as ever been. Not going to be able to pull the move off in this. Shane Walkowitz is able to block off Rally. And Rally opening the door more and more to Boonstra here. Boonstra got an insanely better exit out of that chicane. With that Porsche back end is sliding all over. Not able to keep up with the McLaren. Question is, at what point do these drivers say I'm gonna go into the pit and I don't want to fight anymore? Not this lap.
Well, you have to think if you're a Rally or Boonstra, are you faster than the cars in front of you? I think Wolkowitz isn't really feeling the pressure as much. He's been driving his normal lines even with the cars relatively close behind. I think he has a real good race mentality right now of not looking in his rearview mirror.
I do think Rally has been held up though a decent amount. And I think following Walkowitz is actually hurting his race because following at this track is extremely hard, as we said before.
Yeah, I think if I was Rally, I'd probably dive in. Boonstra, I think I haven't seen the pace yet to justify an early dive into the pits, and I believe generally you want to dive in the pits as late as possible.
Off track.
Had
Trying
a bit
to push
of a
too hard. Yeah, it's a
little
late
wiggle.
on the brakes.
A little wiggle.
Little wiggle.
As he had another yellow flag issue and is now teleported to pits.
That'll be Kyle Miller going from this. That guy was within range of Donahue for a quick second. He's still there. Not within the second gap yet, but he's still there. Trying to claw his way back. Currently, Wolkowitz, Rally, and Boonstra still all together. No one diving into the pits just yet. Gap from Funk to Craig, your P1 to P2, 11 seconds right now.
As Riggs passes Sharon. See if he can make the move stick. And it looks like he can. He's up half a second and gaining.
Good job, Riggs. And that comeback drive.
At the same time, Dockendorf made a move on Unda and is now 4/10 clear.
It's very curious to see what happens when Zach Sky and Donahue start closing the gap a little bit more. There will be some Porsche on Porsche action. Will we see the rise of Donahue or will we fall again?
I don't know, but I tend to plan for the worst. So I hope he has another bail. I hope he has another bail payment set aside.
Not what you want to hear if you're Donahue. What you also don't want to hear is from
Yellow
Rally's
flags for
radio.
Aiden Grover.
That too. Walkowitz. Rally closing the gap so close that he's touching our bumper.
Oof.
Very close. Compromising the exit. Boonstra actually might look up the inside here, deciding to get right back in line, poking their nose out again. Try and go lay on the brakes. Not going to do it. Walkowitz is going to dive into the pits. Boonstra is going to be able to get this position because Rally, going too late on the brakes, will compromise his line, send him off into the grass of the chicane, and Boonstra is now released and off to the races.
Yeah, Rally braked the pit lane break point because he was following Volkowitz.
We focused on the brake lights, and now our battle on track right now is with Guy and Donahue. Next guy closing that gap pretty well.
Barker within 5/10 of fair, directly behind, going into that final chicane. Neither of them are going to dive into the pits here.
Cool. That's a good run by Zach Sky. Will he poke out here? Not going to do it. Decides against it. We'll just stay right there. Gotta get a better exit than Donahue here. Doesn't look to be proving anything right now. So everything will just stay right back in line. Rally has called back up to Boonstra.
Both those Porsches of Sky and Donahue took the turn 5 chicane very conservatively, trying to avoid the jump. Embrace the jump as Riggs has an issue. Yellow flags. Looks like he had a quick off track and he's back.
Good.
Nothing too crazy.
Ooh, Zach Sky gonna compromise his exit there, sticking his tires into the grass. Not what you want to do if you're especially in a Porsche. Barker's closing the gap to fair a little bit down the order. Rally now into the pits. Sky not having a great line will fall off and will be a little bit away from Donahue. Falkendorf with a yellow flag stopped. Throwing in reverse. That is at pit exit. Picking out the Pirelli sign. We didn't need it anyway.
Stop. Throw it back at me.
Okay. Didn't realize it was this type of shit.
I mean, I started the stream calling the Jag thick, so like...
I mean, fair. It's only on brand at this point.
We are SRA at night.
At night? At night.
I feel like the after dark branding has been used for something else. I just can't remember what it was.
Not sure either. As Matissey threw a yellow flag. Was stopped in the straight. Dockendorf closing the gap to Greer currently. Zico closing the gap to Walkowitz. Barker closing the gap to Fair as well.
Yep. Fair and Barker have been within half a second of each other for like 4 laps now.
Well, that gap is closing. It's now 2/10, 1/10.
No tenths.
Side by side we go. Not a very popular place to go, but Barker looks to be out on the other side. This is actually
pulling 7/10 up to that corner now.
But this has now invited a couple cars behind them. I believe those are blue flags, but if too much of a mess happens there, Zitko and Walkowitz could get right up in this battle as well.
We could have our only 2 on-track battles combined, like the fusion dance from Dragon Ball.
And now we have Dockendorf and Grover down there. They're doing something. They're closing the gap. Ooh, almost into the back of Walkowitz with Zitko. Gonna get an unfavorable exit here as well. Not gonna be helping at all. Zach Sky has again closed the gap to Donahue. And Sky finally make the overtake. He's faster coming down here into the chicane. Donahue gonna get blue flagged here.
Update on the leader. Funk is 12.1 seconds ahead of P2.
Oh my.
And his last lap was a 1:30.2. So the pace is starting to come off. I wonder if that's in part due to tire wear. I have no idea how the Jag is on tire wear. I just know.
I can't imagine it. Oh, Donahue's getting all squirrely. This might invite the door for Sky. Donahue going to take a defensive line. Decides to go very middle of the track. Zach Sky going to try to take the outside in the hairpin. Not going to be able to get the move done. Will decide to slide right back in. Might try again later. Donahue throwing on a good defensive move there. Blue flag becomes ever painful for Donahue though. Flashing him, trying to tell him to get out of the way. Does not look to be wanting to let him by.
I will let you pass when I'm good and ready.
Guy compromised his line a little bit there on the exit. Oh, we're going to go side by side here. Donahue and the blue flag. Not what you want to see if you're Donahue, but both cars of Zach Sky and Donahue have to go all the way to the outside. Zach Sky's going to run into the grass a little bit. Keeps it together, and we'll keep that gap to Donahue for the time being.
They're teammates, correct?
Donahue and Sky?
Yes.
No.
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 Are those not two Porsches of the same livery? Or is that someone behind them?
That's a blue flag behind them.
Got it.
I can see where that can get confusing.
So much pink and purple on the grid.
I know, I love it. Oh, and Zach Sky is going to cook it here in the chicane.
Woof.
Good burnout to get very back on track, though. What you want to see, fair. Barker went side by side. Barker looked to have gotten that move completed. And now we have a battle between Fair, Wolkowitz, and Zicko.
I was about to say, all of a sudden we have a fight. What happened?
We look away. We focus on another battle for a couple seconds. And this pops out. Wolkowitz all over the back of Fair now. Trying to get past. That isn't a Porsche. We'll be able to brake later. Not going to be able to do so. Zicko's getting all out of sorts. Might open the door here for Wolkowitz to get him on the next straight. Second you compromise your straight speed, second you're overtaken. Wolkowitz, Zicko's actually behind now. Not going to be able to do that. Fair is in front. Wolkowitz trying to find any way around Fair. Not going to be able to do it. We'll be at the discretion of Zicko, though, for whatever happens behind him. Closing that gap in the corners. It's so close. You might as well be pushing him. Gets a better exit, but that Aston engine is able to just fire up so much faster than the Porsche.
I jumped in because Rodriguez and Riggs had a real close fight, and I think Rodriguez must have disconnected.
Connection issues?
He's gone.
When
Like,
welcome to the
he
force.
he just disappeared at turn 9 into some vortex. Rest in peace, I guess.
Black
we'll jump
holes.
We'll jump to Greer and Dockendorf. We're having a pretty close battle. But yeah, the disappearing car. It's like that missing Bugatti from like 1933.
No one know where it went. Wolkowitz
There were
trying
4.
again.
we know where 3 are.
Wolkowitz trying to close the gap again to Fair. Not able to get past that Aston Martin engine. Gonna take...
Mercedes engine.
Okay. I mean, fair. Zach Sky will be into the pits. Now, Wolkowitz within diving range of Fair, but the second he's within diving range, you best believe he will be taking that. He's actually getting right up on the bumper. Fair not having a great exit, so we might go side by side here into turn 1. Might invite Zicko to kind of capitalize here. Wolkowitz might take a very late braking point. Not going to be able to do it so hotly, so we'll have to shallow it out. But Fair still holding the speed. Not going to swing all the way out. Might be the death of him here. If Wolkowitz can get a good exit, going to get a very similar exit at that. And a blue flag has caught up to this battle. Not what you want to see when you're a blue flag. Oh, and Fair's in the grass. This is opening the door for Wolkowitz. Come side by side here through the chicane. And we'll actually be able to overtake him before the chicane even happens.
Woof, what a drive.
Wolkowitz has been released.
You just got to be on it. You got to be on it, and then as soon as the driver in front makes the smallest of mistakes, because that wasn't much tire on the grass.
No.
That might have been 4 or 5 Ks maybe. And took advantage of it and took the position. Now you're in the power spot where now they have to pass you.
The Fair is coming back, but that Porsche is so much better when it's in clean air through these turns. Oh, and the dive here from Zicko on the outside is not going to check. Fair will keep that position. Recton has joined the fight now.
As we see, Zach Sky had a bit of an off-track incident, yellow flagged, and got passed by Santos for P21. Which
What
is
a
unfortunate for Mr. Sky right after the pits.
Oh, and Fair's getting all wiggly. Opens the door for Zitko to come side by side here. Unfortunately, Recton's not going to be able to get up here into the fight either. But he will sit back here and watch as we just file back in line. Fair to Zitko to Recton. Fair and Recton are teammates though, so yeah, some team orders here over the radio. Hey, can you just like back them up a little bit?
I do, but we will talk later. This is very unfair.
Zitko closing that gap, 1/10. We're gonna go side by side through the chicane again. I lied. They're gonna slot right back in line.
Unda and Rutledge having a little bit of a fight. They've been within 3 or 4 tenths for the last lap or so.
Wow.
Just kind of going around, driving around, doing their thing. Honda versus the Porsche.
Nah, that's a rough battle there. Recton all over the back of Zitko right now. Not gonna be able to get moved on. The Honda is basically like a Porsche on drugs, to say the least.
Yeah, it does the things the Porsche does, I think, better. Except for the braking performance,
Yes.
and it is much sketchier to drive. I think. I think it's significantly harder to drive, personally.
Fair is letting Walkowitz just run away with it. He is taking some extremely defensive lines here.
That's tough to be a part of that train where the leader of the train is a little too defensive.
Like, you definitely didn't need to be there, but you were there, so it happens. Zitko waiting for the right opportunity for Fair to make a mistake. Saw one happen when he was driving against Walkowitz, so let's see what happens driving against Zitko. Because actually washing a bit wide there, but is able to hold a ton of speed. Fair looks to be struggling through this turn 4 section just a little bit more than other drivers. We're still in this 3-way battle. White Scarver actually might make it up here before the race ends. We have 14 minutes left in the race. White Scarver's only a second and a half behind from this battle right now.
Yeah, easy time to make up, particularly where, as we saw, this track is a lot about drivers' unforced errors. And that can cost you a lot of time, as we see a couple yellow flags on the field, on the circuit. Thompson going deep into the, I believe that's the chicane at 11. And Friday had some sort of issue where he just pulled over to the side. Oh, that's not a great rejoin contact.
Ooh.
That's
Gonna get looked at later.
Yeah, that was not a. I don't know where that car was that hit him, but that car was definitely laps ahead.
As pit window has just over 10 minutes left, we still have a decent amount of people that still need to pit, so look for the order to kind of get shaken up a little bit more. Speaking of shaken up, Donahue is approaching Craig. Craig has pit from P2. Funk should have a extremely safe pit stop, because the gap is now 23 seconds.
Yeah, and P2 still needs to pit, so the gap between Funk and Craig is a little over a minute.
Correct. It's fair. Gonna go defensive again. Actually, we'll float right back out to the outside, cut off Zitko a little bit. Fair is a little hesitant, and White Scarver has now joined the battle. He has entered the fray, per se.
A new fighter appears.
Let's see what the Ferrari can do against these 3 Astons. It's just up the road. Viewmaster and Cockcroft are getting into it. And there's a yellow flag from Julio exiting the pits.
Yeah, I'm trying to track what's going on, but I can't really see what happened. I just know that he's lost the position to Boonstra.
Boonstra did come in a little early, so we might see the undercut might work here a little bit.
Although she does still need to pit. There is that.
I lied. The others pit from that battle that we watched earlier.
Ah, yes.
We're having a little fight between Julio, Craig, and Donahue now. almost all within a second of each other. Donahue is approaching Craig decently fast. I don't know if he'll have enough speed in it to actually capture it. Cube Master is approaching Cockcroft as well.
Zico, Wreck, and White Scarf are all within a second of each other, if not less. Zico is with 2/10 of Fair behind, or 2/10 behind Fair, sorry.
Because Fair is throwing on extreme defensive moves the entire time. Not what you want to see. You're the person following, at least. Watts is in the pits, the other Jag driver.
EJ Watts.
Watts. Who's that? Boonstra now finally into the pits. Craig still within tenths here. Actually, just now caught this. Julio jumped Craig in the pits. Not sure if they're on different strategies or if Craig just caught a little traffic early on. Out Julio, you get the jump on him. In picture window, you can see Zico is just absolutely all over the wing of Fair.
This is one of my favorite cams for the representation of how close these cars are.
Yeah.
What is 2/10? As Craig has an issue.
Yeah, he does. Trying to get it back on track. Is able to get it. Not very cleanly, so we'll jump over to the Barker battle.
I call it an issue, but I think it's just a Honda being hit at speed.
You know, Honda, Zico and Recton side by side. Sorry, Zico and Fair side by side. Fair not letting up anything.
Yep.
So
Booster
back to
trying to
normal.
get out of the way, coming out of the pits.
Have a battle between Zico, Recton, and right behind that. Sorry, Fair, Zico, Recton, then right behind them, Boonstra, Donahue, White Scarver. And if Fair keeps driving defensive, this might merge into a 6-car battle.
A 2-second gap between Booster and Recton to combine the battles, and there's 9 minutes left. That seems eminently doable.
Doable, depending on how defensive Fair gets.
Well, I can't imagine him getting less defensive as the race comes closer to an end.
That is true. Ooh. Dive up the inside, almost working. Proved not to there. Potvin will now come into the pits. White Scarver is all over the back of Donahue in this Porsche. That Ferrari engine much more powerful than that Porsche engine.
Update on Funk, who has pit. He is now in P3, about 19 seconds behind the leader, who I have to imagine has not pit yet. Which means he should re-inherit P1 pretty clear, with a 17-second gap to Gold behind, who I'm not sure if Gold has pit yet.
Marvin and Davis have yet to pit. I don't think Gold has pit yet.
He has not, so the next closest car on track that has also pit is something like 23 seconds behind.
Parker's approaching Watts here. Gonna look for the move on the inside. Not gonna do it as we're about to get into some blue flag mess here. Cube Master followed by Watts, followed by Barker, all within a train now. Your Cube Master, you're flashing these blue flags to get out of the way. Watts gonna try to capitalize on the blue flag. Barker is gonna funnel right through on the inside. Everyone is able to get by that blue flag relatively quickly, but we only have 7.5 minutes left, so if there's any move to make it, now's the time. I don't know if I agree with Zico's driving in that one. he noticed Fair went wide, but instead of just taking the racing line, he decided the shallow line on the exit, compromised his exit speed. If he would have just taken the normal line, he would have been good and clear. But now who's not good and clear is DJ Watts, who's about to be, Barker, who's was about to be overtaken by Gold for a second after bending their tires in the gravel.
Well, they're now half a second behind Bolkowitz.
Watts is going to go side by side here with Cube Master. Cube Master will take the inside line. We'll have that, but this is the point where I said let the inside have the line, because that's the reason why. Q Master Watts still side by side here down to the chicane. Watts has the inside. We'll just let Q Master go through here. Q Master letting that gap still be there. Master holding off Watts still. Will keep that position. And now Barker is coming to join the fight, but I believe there is a blue flag in between Barker and Watt currently.
What a catch there, by the way, by Q Master. A little wiggly on the exit of the chicane, but to catch that was crazy.
There's contact between the blue flag and Barker in the back. Barker tried to get up on the inside of the blue flag. Not going to happen there. Watts still all over the back of Q Master. We're in for an exciting finish here.
Zitko is right next to Fair. They're side by side coming in. Zitko ahead by an inch as they're coming to the turn 11 chicane. But Fair has the inside line for the left-hander. And doesn't slot behind, tries to hold around the outside, and Zitko's going to hold the line with the much preferred inside line on the exit, coming down the front, the start-finish straight.
No, he took about 20 laps, but he got there.
The tortoise in the hare, my friend, the tortoise in the hare.
But that fight is still going on, and Boonstra has joined the fight in the back of that. You can look and see the Porsche all the way in the back. Donahue's approaching that pack very fast as well. We have just over 5 minutes left.
Zitko, Fair, Recton, Boonstra all within a second of each other. Boonstra 2/10 behind Recton.
Really insane. Watts approaching Masters very, very close here. Barker's now getting into the fight. Masters going to take the more defensive line into the chicane with his Porsche. Is able to hold it. Watts holding so much speed through it. Actually going to be able to compromise his exit there at the next turn. Davis up ahead is starting to close the gap on Craig for P4 right now. Marvin's going to dive into the pits at P2. So that battle will now turn into P2. See Marvin not getting the best of exit, but we'll hold up Davis. Davis not going to be able to get by Martin at all. Coming down here, final turn. DJ Watts not able to get any kind of run on Master currently. Down to the outside of Master. Master's going to try to hold that inside line. We'll do it successfully. Watts going to have to sit back, wait for another turn. Troll try it here. Looking to the inside, holding a lot more speed than Master, but Master's still able to just hold Watts behind him. Watts going to have to just funnel in and wait again.
We look at our picture-in-picture. Recton, Boonstra, Fair, all. Recton gets the move done on Fair at the inside. Fair and Boonstra both 0.1 behind, so they're having their fun going to turn 4.
Clean racing. Boonstra is able to hold that inside line. Pit window will close here in a minute. I believe we're all cleared up, but that means we have 3.5 minutes left. Master's going to get a bad run through the chicane, opening the door for Watts and Barker currently here. No one able to overtake through that extremely tight section. Watts needs to be all over the back of Master here. Master trying to squeeze him off to the inside line. Good block. Watts to the outside. Master is holding that inside, going to squeeze him off. We'll open the door for Barker. Barker's going to actually squeal his tires on the exit, so Watts is going to be able to run free with no repercussions from that move.
Oh, it's a Jag. Things happen.
The Jag.
As Fair, Boonstra, and now Donahue has been invited in by the fighting are all within 5/6 of each other. And Recton only 3/10 ahead of Fair. So we got a 4-car battle going on here.
It is getting spicy a little bit everywhere right now. Watts still trying to close the door on Master, but not able to do it at all, having so much difficulty, which is kind of weird when it comes to a Jag versus a Porsche. Two polar opposite cars.
The Porsche's much faster in the corners, but
that Jag.
That engine has something to say.
Watts is trying to hold the gap currently. We have just over 2 minutes left. If there's any move to make, now's the time. We'll probably have about 2 to 3 laps remaining, depending on where the leader crosses the line. I do see the leader just now cross the line. So,
can we as Americans claim the Jag as an American GT3 car? Was this during the era when Ford owned Jaguar?
I don't think so. Not sure.
Dang. We have to
I'm
stick
not-
with the Honda because it was developed in Ohio.
Walkowitz has a yellow flag. He's off in the wall.
Oof.
Gonna lose 2 positions here to Gold and Zitko. If Recton and Fair were there, we've had another position as well. As we are in a Ghost Rider sandwich currently for Watts.
You got to keep your mind right. You have 1, maybe 2 more laps.
I think they will see 2 more laps here. Leader will come across the line one more time, and that will call the final lap.
Got to hold half a second for 2 laps. Definitely doable. Just try not to make any mistakes. Remember, your car's thick. Keep it in the way. Boonstra's 2/10 behind Fair, coming down the main straight.
Because closing the door to Gold. Walkowitz is still there on the end. Barker is going to have a terrible line out of turn 3. Watts just watching Master drive off into the sunset currently. Davis is closing the gap very fast on Marvin. Marvin's having an issue. Davis now going along the outside here. We'll take the inside line here on the hairpin, and we'll make that move complete.
Wolf, what a textbook move up the inside.
We are on the final lap. Blue flag's now coming into play. Watts now 1/10 away from Master here, down into the chicane. Master just trying to hold him back for the time being. He will still have 1 more lap to drive around after this. Watts sticking their tires in the grass. Opens the door straight open for Barker. Barker's approaching Watts ever so slightly, but not going to be able to do it. So he will just slide right back in line.
Get a gap on the straight, just as he goes deep.
He's so deep, there's a car off in the grass.
They just wanted a good view of the race, you know, the
Yeah.
fight for the win, or fight for the top positions.
Marvin's still in the bumper of Davis, so we'll keep an eye on what transpires in this battle. But this battle between Watts and Master, they are now entering their final lap right now. Currently 5/10 is the gap. We've seen Watts get extremely close in the second sector. What can we do now? This is Watts' last chance, Barker's last chance to finally get something done.
And along that note, Donahue, who we've been talking about this whole time, being, you know, if he's close enough to make his move, he can make his move, is now 2/10 behind Boonstra, who is herself only 5/10 behind Fair with 1 more lap to go.
Now's your chance, because the leader of the race, Funk, is crossing the line right now. He's doing your mini map, so that will be your race winner, your gold race winner. Julio looks to be coming in second. DJ Watt's going to have a terrible exit out of that chicane. This is opening the door wide open for Barker to make a move down here into the very wide chicane. But that Jag engine is just holding that. Barker's going to slot right back in line. Try to find something here on the last stretch of track. Doesn't look to be doing. Watts trying to get all that power down, trying to catch up to Master. He might have done it here. Master's going to be very slow. Going to try to take the inside defensive line. He will be able to get that. There's a car off in the gravel there. Cube Master able to hold that. Watts going to have to slot right back in line. Barker right back in line. Down to the final chicane. Will Watts make a move? No, they will not. Barker is very late on the brakes. Not going to be able to do anything. We'll try to drag race to the end, but it doesn't look to happen. The Q Master will hold the position, followed by Watts, followed by Barker. Congratulations to Funk and Julio for winning their respective classes. What a race at the end.
Yeah, well done. I mean, we're still fighting. The gap is spread out a little bit between Fair, Boomster, and Donahue, about half a second between them. Coming down the front straight. No reason for that position to change, but what a race. What a race across the board.
What a race indeed, as Riggs will come across the line to finish this off. We would need to get Julio and Funk here. Who had the most positions gained as well? Is not a lot of positions gained across the board. Recton had the most with 10. So not a ton position gaining. But what a race. What a race. So, your first week back, Waleed, after taking a break, how was it?
Man, the racing was fantastic. Missed Imola, which, you know, might be for the best. It's always a little depressing to see things like 15 car pileups before turn 1. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Zolder, and we saw some really good racing. Not a lot of passing, but a lot of really, really good high level, like trusting the guy or girl next to me racing.
Mhm.
And something I do want to point out: the fastest car on the speed trap was the Jag
Well, of
at
course.
232 Ks. The next fastest car would be the Lexus at 230, then a bunch of 227s. Rapid cars in a straight line.
Extremely rapid car. Just trying to see if we can get any of them for an interview. Currently, none of them responding. So we'll just hold off and wait. Anyone else you kind of want to talk to? Anyone else you're like, wow?
One of that member of the like Donahue, Boonstra, Fair, one of the ones that was in a fight like the whole race.
Oh, I know
Could be
I can get Donahue. Hold on.
interesting.
I know I can grab Donahue.
Like, what was it like being in a fight in the middle of the grid for the whole race?
Just nice to get some of these people's insights. David Funk will be our. Let me just find him.
Also, I've been gone for a week, and now we ask people to come interview all of a sudden. We don't just pull people anymore.
Look. I thought we should be nice. Is David Funk in a VC? I don't see him.
I also do not see him.
We're working on it.
We are checking.
We're trying. He doesn't know where to go. This is his first time, alright? This is his first time, alright?
Oh, tell him to hop in any voice chat. We'll move him.
I did.
Okay. Oh, yep, he's in race chat 1.
Yep.
And I'll...
David Funk, you have
Hello.
won Zolder, and not only have you won Zolder, but you won it by a hefty margin in a Jag. How you
A Jag.
feel? How you feeling? What's the emotion right now?
Feeling good. The last race kind of put a fire in me to get a little more practice and kind of see what I could do here. And yeah, feeling good.
Turns out what you could do is win by 30 seconds.
It turns out that the Jag is decent here. What can I say? Like,
Interesting.
it's faster than the Ferrari.
I mean,
When I called the Ferrari slow, that's not what I meant.
yeah. So going into qualifying and going into the race, what kind of was the strategy for it? Did you really expect to kind of be like on pole and just fly out the gate?
I was expecting to be on pole, to be honest, because like even in practice session that wasn't recorded, I had a 27.9. So I was expecting to get a pole position basically. And all my goal was to sneak ahead in the first series of corners. And if I did that, I thought it was going to be good. But it was very worrisome at first when it seemed like he was holding the outside in turn 1. And I thought he was going to keep it in because, like, after turn 1, the inside's better, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I was worried, but then I somehow snuck ahead, and yeah, that was it.
Luckily, you held the position. Held it for the rest of the race, even had a very extremely safe pit stop. So hopefully that you can replicate that next week at...
No. At Olton?
At Olton, you got this. Perfect spot for the Jag. What do you mean?
Yeah, I think it's almost 2 seconds off pace there. 1.5 seconds, something like that.
You won by 30 seconds. It's fine.
But that's when it's on pace, or like 0.5 seconds off pace.
All right. Well, we'll see you on pole next week at Olin Park.
It was a great race, bud. Apologize for not showing you much on the stream when you go back and watch it, but you look like you were kind of bored, just kind of driving around, no traffic, no competition. So the best compliment we can give you is, yeah, he's in the lead, double-digit seconds. It's fine.
It happens when it's like that.
Well, you have a good rest of your night. Hope to see you on top form again next week. Enjoy the win.
Yep. Have a good one. Bye.
Good old David Fall. Let's get the man, the myth, the legend, John Donahue, not pulling in a podium, but just wanted to get the insight of being in a battle constantly throughout the entire race at Zolder.
My brain dead.
The car not dead. So
Car not dead, brain dead. I had you won't find this surprising because of the second chicane. I had 3 track cuts. Like I was at number 3 with like 25 minutes left to go. I'm like, oh great.
And that's why I saw you being that little extra conservative.
Oh yeah. Every time I went through there, I'm like, don't touch it. Don't touch it.
Well, you kept it together. You had the good fights. Was it fun? At least
it was. I was able to finish behind Selena as well. I think that's the first time we've ever done that. Both cars in the top 20, so that was awesome. I caught up to her at the end there, and I think she was worried I was going to pass her. I texted her afterwards. I'm like, don't worry. You had the pace, and you're the gold on our team, so you were going to finish first.
Well, it's good
confirmation of team orders.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's good points for your team, and I hope to see you on top form at Olin. Probably a more dominant Porsche track. We might. I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll find out.
See.
But
Yeah, all those British GT tracks feel real good in the Porsche.
Yeah.
Jury's out though, because Olton is hell.
Well, we'll see what happens next week. Hopefully not too much, but enjoy the cool down that you will probably need after that long battle. Get prepped up for Olton.
I forgot to turn on the fan in my room. I'm feeling that now.
Stick your head out
Even
the
though
window.
it's like 40 degrees outside, I'm cold. I'm really hot in here.
Yeah, just stick your head out the window. You'll be fine.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your night, Donahue. We'll see you next week, hopefully in a better position for interviewing.
See you guys.
John Donahue, what a man. What a myth.
What a
a
man.
legend. Unfortunately, Julio not going to be joining us tonight, so I guess that's it for us. Any final remarks, Waleed?
I'm much more discouraged about my pace than I was before I watched this race. I'm gonna go get some practice time in tonight. How about you?
Maybe not tonight. I might need some sleep. But
West Coast time.
nope, it's East Coast time, baby. Best Coast.
That doesn't even rhyme.
East Coast, Best Coast.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Well, if you enjoyed what you saw here tonight, want to join in on the fun, we have a loving community here at Sim Racing Alliance. So go to simracingalliance.com, simracingalliance.com. You can join the Discord through there, get signed up already for this season or next season, whatever you get into. It's a fun time. We all try to improve each other. And not only do we have these team series, but we also have exhibition, for fun races, Assetto Corsa races, endurance races that happen periodically, multi-class racing. We have it all here when it comes to Assetto Corsa games. So hop on in, simracingalliance.com. Shout out to all of the sponsors you can see going across the top of your screen tonight. Yeah, I think that's it. Signing out. Taylor for Waleed. Have a good night, everyone.